what pitfalls surprised you in starting your coaching practice that no one warned you about?
Well, for me, well, I think part of it is there's in developing your own coaching practice, it's hard. Like there's just no way around it. But that's sort of like the known thing. People go into it going, yeah, it's going to be hard. And when I was developing it, I came directly from undergrad, college, back to teaching high school, even before I graduated college. So to me, it felt like college was this interruption of being in high school, first as a student, then as a teacher, kind of thing. So it was very compressed. And then when I started my coaching practice, I literally started with just only the experience of a high school teacher and no business experience. And we didn't have anything to lose. Just like, all right, let's jump in, let's try it. Main pitfall was not quite understanding that the hardest part of this challenge would be myself and managing my own energy, my own levels of motivation, focus. All of that was without a skill set of, without a structure in place, without going into a workplace. That's hard, especially when you're faced with the stress and pressure of money and having to make it. At first, I'd read a lot of news articles. I'd get lost in that. Then I'd get lost in football. And then I realized that's not a good use of my time. And I'm just not that into it for a variety of reasons. And then it became chess was my outlet. And then that sort of stuck. And that sort of, once I could refine my mental escape to be confined in about 20-minute segments, and something doesn't lead me down too many rabbit holes, then it started to click and work on a deep level. But it took me about 5 years to figure that out. And I think the largest pitfall is just keeping the ability to stay focused on hard things and doing that mental, emotional work. Making phone calls and following up with people while at the same time taking care of yourself. I think the biggest surprise I experienced is that I think self-care and motivation, I felt like should only be maybe 5% of our work, but it's more like 50% when you're an entrepreneur. And that's hard. There's no way around it. What about for you, Raj?
I can resonate with some similar things there. Time management, feeling the pressure of, just it's initially could be, me, myself, and I. And I was thinking about when you were speaking, actually, nobody warned me about making sure that I had good support systems in place and a good structure of that in place, and how lonely it can be if you don't have a good network. Think about, I moved from the UK to the US, and I went to an office every day. I was part of a support system with the organization that I was with, and then suddenly I decide I'm going to launch my coaching business, and I think and move to a new country, even though we speak the same language, and how lonely that was at times for me. And having that pressure of, you're the admin, you're the coach, the CEO, the founder, the marketer, all of those things. And I think initially one of my pitfalls might have been my ego and not asking for help, or not being as open as I could have been. And I think what I've learned through that journey is really important to surround yourself with like-minded people. This is why I love being part of Coach Training EDU, even though I do have my own coaching practice, because it gives me something to bounce off of. It helps me with motivation. I speak to a lot of great trainers and coaches, and we mastermind together. And no one really explained any of that to me.
Mhm. Mhm. Yeah, I think having that support system is absolutely crucial. Like it makes the difference in a lot of ways. I had it built in with Amois because she had already started her coaching practice before I did. So I got to see it first from like the, cheering her on perspective before I did it. And that was helpful. I mean, it was really helpful to have someone, in-house basically who has done the same thing you're trying to do. Yeah. There were months when we had maybe 3 weeks of money left. And when you're staring at 3 weeks of money left and knowing that you have to perform at this, you have 2 or 3 events coming up where you're presenting and you have to get a client, from these 2 or 3 events. I mean, that's pressure. That's a, that's a lot. And being able to hold that space of trust that if you work your system, it's going to work out, had taught me a lot about where I have to place my focus. And now looking back, I'm really thankful for that experience. I mean, I don't know of any other experience, coach training experience, yes, but entrepreneurship is a whole nother experience that grows people. Yeah, I'm now very thankful for that experience.
You still have to be really courageous and take risks with all of that pressure on. So, the other thing nobody, I would guess, warn me about is that I would have to be more courageous than I'd probably been ever before, because I did have the comfort blanket of being part of an organization and there was that safety net there.
Mm-hmm.
And now you are going out and you're selling your business and you're selling you have to be confident in yourself. So I think it goes back to that. You've got to make time for that self-care when you work for yourself.
Right. And treat it as an important aspect of what you're doing too. It's like it's part of your morning routine is part of your business plan. That's what I would. Yeah, and then throw in all sorts of things like kids or puppies, and then you got a real party going.